In Parshas Vayikra, the Torah delineates for us how to become close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Primarily, when we make mistakes and we want to atone for our mistakes and we express regret, the Torah tells us to bring a korban. Korban from the lashon, from the root of the word kuf reish beis, which means to become close, karov. The way in which we become close to Hashem, to attain forgiveness, to atone for the mistakes that we made, is primarily by bringing a korban, bringing a sacrifice. Now, what kind of sacrifice is the Torah talking about? So, for everyone's financial bracket, across the stream, so there are those who would bring a behema, a large animal. There are those who would bring something like a goat. There are those who would bring a lamb. And then people who couldn't afford those items would then bring, for example, they would bring a bird, a turtle dove. And those who couldn't even afford a bird, the Torah says that they don't have to feel left out. They can also bring a korban to Hashem. But their korban is going to be a little bit different. Their korban was going to be made of fine flour, as we call soles, and the Torah tells us that we have to make sure that when we bring this korban, which is made of fine flour, that korban cannot have any shemen, cannot have any oil with it. And the question that the Sefer HaChinuch raises is, why couldn't there be any oil? There are other korbanos which do contain oil. So why couldn't this korban being brought by a person who wanted to atone for a sin, why couldn't that contain any oil? And so he explains as follows. He says that oil is a remez, is an allusion to something which is great, something which is uplifted. Because if we mix oil into any other liquid, the oil always rises to the top. So oil is considered to be something which is very chashuv, very important. And therefore, oil is used in order to be mamlich melachim, to coronate the king. There's oil that's sprinkled on a king. There's oil that's used, as we saw in last week's parsha, by Moshe Rabbeinu to anoint the Kohanim, the Kohen Gadol. And oil has a great significance and a chashivos, an importance when it comes to, in general, when we look at it as a liquid. Therefore, in this situation, where a chotei, a person who has sinned, is bringing a korban mincha, is bringing this korban, which is simply made of flour, so this individual can't add any shemen, any oil, because the individual themselves, when they're in a state of regret, they're in a state of sadness, they're looking for atonement, so they regret their actions, and in order for a person to truly and sincerely regret their actions, they have to humble themselves a little bit. And if they humble themselves, they can't be compared to oil, because oil is all the way up top. And I think this is a powerful message to us when it comes to our own interactions, be it with our relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, or even in our relationship with other people. When we make mistakes, and we're all human, we all make mistakes, and we want to get someone's forgiveness, we have to make sure that we give off the appearance that not only are we sincere, but we have to make sure that we give off the appearance that we're humbled by the mistake that we made, that we're able to learn from the mistake that we made. And if the person who we're apologizing to, who we're trying to get forgiveness from, is able to see our being not only truthful, but our sincerity, is able to see that we've been humbled by what we've learned from the mistake that we've made, then we're in a much better place in being able to sway their heart to forgive us. And this is not only about friends and distant family, this is about our own homes and our own direct, close family members. There are times that, over the course of time, certainly when it comes to preparing for a yontif, there are times that we all make mistakes. Perhaps we, out of so much stress that we're going through, that we end up saying something the wrong way. Instead of letting something sit, let's just gain forgiveness by being sincere, by being honest, and by saying, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. And by doing so, we're humbling ourselves before the other person in the hopes that they will forgive us for our actions, and that we can learn for the next time and apply it to our lives so that we don't find ourselves in the same position. Thank you for listening, and have a good Shabbos.